Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Welcome to the fancy version of Live Up to Freedom because today I will be looking that way for the purpose of seeing your comments, but I will not be constantly looking and clicking because I do have my lovely producer, Austin, who will be doing all the technical work behind the scene. And we are live. I know every time you ask me, is this live? This is live, whatever that means. And I will be checking your comments. So don't be shy sending your comments with questions or thoughts you might have. And I will be joined here in a minute with a very special guest to discuss, well, as the title said, pardon. We want to go dig into that a little bit. But before I do that, I want to make a couple of announcements. We are live on many platforms. We are live on all of my platforms, Facebook, X, Rumble, YouTube. We are on Patriot TV Rumble channel. So if you're joining us there, hello to Patriot TV audience. We're also live on Lou Dub's Media Rumble channel and a couple other channels. So wherever you're at, remember, liveuptofreedom.com is where you can always go and find everything outside of all platforms. Liveuptofreedom.com. Subscribe to our free newsletter because we send them out just once a week. I'm not going to jam your inbox. Just once a week, I'll send out all the updates, all the upcoming events. A lot is happening comes January 2025. Lots of announcement. 3 new shows coming. So stay tuned. Sign up to free newsletter on liveuptofreedom.com. Okay, enough of all that. Let's go ahead and bring on our special guest. He is no stranger to my audience, Jeff Crouere. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing?
Hey, Annie. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. You know, before we go live, I actually told you, I said, let's wing it because me and you, we can talk about many things for many hours. So it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Well, yeah, I love coming on your program, and thanks so much, Andy. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do. We have a lot to discuss, and I feel like we should start here. Let's just start here. Maybe I'm just projecting. Maybe other people are all very aware. So I'm not going to pretend like this is all just for my audience. The word pardon has been going around for many years, but recently, since the election, it's like all we hear is this person's pardoning that person. Oh no, he promised he's not going to pardon anybody. So why don't we do this? Let me ask you this. Give us a general understanding of presidential pardons, the circumstances, rules, regulations, do's and don'ts, and most importantly, the consequences that comes with all these pardons.
You know, it is in the founders' wisdom, a power that they designated in the Constitution for the president. And in the past, Annie, it has been used sparingly. Some presidents more often. It has been used for family members, for controversial criminals, for figures that a president pardons, like on the last day, like President Bill Clinton pardoned criminal Mark Rich in his last day in office. And there has been a lot of speculation about this particular president and who he's going to pardon. Some are saying that he's going to be pardoning 20 million undocumented migrants, illegal aliens that are going to be in here to prevent President Trump from removing these people from the country. Others say he's going to be pardoning more family members. I don't know if he is really capable of making any decisions on his own as it is, Annie. I don't know if he's mentally competent to know what's going on. I really have doubts about his mental competence right now from seeing him recently. But of course, the big pardon recently that captured everyone's attention was Hunter's. And it was not just a regular garden variety pardon. I mean, he went back 11 years and pardoned Hunter for all these crimes that I believe were committed and that he has gotten away with and will get away with them because he has now been pardoned. And I saw a new poll out today just to share with your viewers. Only 22% of Americans agree with what Joe Biden did. So Crouere Jean-Pierre lied when she said that, this is something that has support of the American people. It does not. The American people do not approve of what Joe Biden did. And to make matters worse, Annie, he lied about it over and over and over again, saying he would never do it. Crouere Jean-Pierre said he would never do it, and he did it. Now, a lot of people say, well, we knew he was going to do it. It's his son. Well, then don't lie about it for your whole administration if you're going to do it. Okay? Don't tell us you're not going to do it. And they knew he was going to do it for a while and lied to us. So the man's a liar. He's a plagiarist. He's been plagiarizing ever since 1988 when he ran for president. Then he plagiarized the words of Neil Kinnock, RFK Sr., and others. The media jumped on him, kicked him out of the race, but he never reformed, never changed. He's been a bad character ever since, and he's still that same guy today, Annie.
Oh, well, true. And first of all, what is wrong with the 22% of Americans who agree with what he did? Just look with us. What is wrong with you people?
Well,
There should be.
Annie, that's progress because Kamala Harris got the support of 48% of the American people.
Yes, I understand, but majority of that percentage had nothing to do with her conduct, with her lack of IQ, with her lack of morals. It had everything to do with her gender. That's where, but when you support such an action, you're supporting the action, not the gender, not the race, not the religion. You're supporting an action that is absolutely against humanity. It's against our constitution, law and order. And again, this guy was convicted fair and square. It wasn't some propaganda. It was a pure conviction. And the fact that yes, I knew. We actually, funny enough, a few days before he did release the pardon, you were on Glazov Gang, another show I produce, and I get to have conversation with you on that show. And I actually asked you, you yourself said, I don't think he's going to do it. Maybe Trump, because he brought it up. So some of us thought he will do it. Some of us thought he wouldn't do it. But bottom line is, when he did it, he should have 0% support. It's so disappointing.
Well, you know what? It reminds us all that we should never trust anything he says or his staff says, because they're all lies. So, he was saying over and over again that he wouldn't do it, and then of course, a few days after that, he does it, and not just any pardon. I mean, unlike any pardon we've ever seen, going back 11 years. And what happened in 2014? I mean, that's when Hunter Biden started doing deals in Ukraine. When he was on Air Force Two going to China, when he got money from the wife of the ex-mayor of Moscow. I mean, on and on and on, Pakistan. And then, of course, Joe Biden went over to Ukraine and put the pressure on. And, of course, they fired the prosecutor that was looking into Burisma. Hunter Biden got $83,000 a month, didn't know the language, didn't know the business, didn't know the industry, didn't know the country. I mean, it was a payoff, and he got away with all of that. And all they got him on, Annie, were gun charges and tax charges. I mean, there were so many other crimes that he could have been prosecuted on. But of course, the Biden Justice Department was treating him with kid gloves. In Joe Biden's announcement, he said he was doing it because his son had been targeted unfairly. That's another lie. I mean, they protected Hunter Biden. They've been protecting Hunter Biden. So all of this is infuriating, and I'm glad the vast majority of Americans, except those 22%, understand that.
I need the phone number of that 22%. I need to ask them how many times you dropped them on their head when they were kids, because there's no logic behind their support. But yes, I agree. Now, it has been no secret that Joe Biden lies. Or let's just put a full umbrella on it. 95% of those who belong to the side of Democrats do lie. That's how they built their empires. But one thing is, we've known, being me and you and most of my audience, because I actually have a very well-educated audience on these topics, we know one of the tools, one of the methods, one of the tactics that the left uses constantly is projecting. When Biden comes out and put that letter out of my son was targeted, it's the projection. They know that's exactly what they did to Trump. So they think everybody's doing to them what they're doing to other people. It's just that psychology. But now with the pardon of Hunter, I started hearing a lot of conservatives, let's call them, saying, oh, this is great because now it's going to make President Trump's reasoning for pardoning J6ers more acceptable by society. I want to draw a line there. The fact that we need one evil action for the good actions to be acceptable by society is really throwing me off my game, Jeff. What is that all about?
No, I agree with you, Annie. You make a very, very good point. There's a world of difference between a corrupt individual who's a criminal, and that is Hunter Biden, captured on video in that infamous laptop that they lied about, uh, doing all sorts of crimes, all the other crimes he committed. There's a big difference between Hunter Biden and, of course, patriots who were there January 6th protesting a stolen election. They were armed with Bibles and flags. Okay, they weren't armed with bombs and weapons to try to destroy, burn down the Capitol. No, that was the Antifa George Floyd protesters who got a slap on the wrist. They were doing that during the summer of 2020. And compare how they were treated with kid gloves, the Hunter Biden treatment, and how these J6 people have been persecuted, tormented, abused, mistreated for the 47 months since J6. And Annie, the Biden Justice Department is still going after J6ers, still arresting and imprisoning J6 protesters. I don't call them rioters, I call them protesters. They were there protesting a stolen election. And what's happened to them is un-American, Annie. It is the hallmark of a banana republic, a third world nation. Every one of them, every single one of them must be pardoned by President Trump. They deserve justice. Jake Lang and others have been in prison for 4 years, have had their due process rights stripped. They have not been allowed to have their trial. How can you imprison people without their day in court for 4 years? And he spent 1,000 of those 1,400 days in solitary confinement, moved to 17 different prisons, brutalized, mistreated, inhumane treatment. So, yeah, President Trump needs to rectify that because they were there on his behalf. They were there to protest for President Trump, for the American people, and against a stolen election.
Very true. Yes. So let's just be clear, everybody out there. This pardon has nothing to do with that pardon. They're two very different stories. Now, as I said, sadly, every president gets to have a pen to issue pardons. Many have done it wrong, many have done it right. But let's not do the comparison of, oh, that's going to work out great for us because now it's going to be acceptable. First of all, nothing of good deeds is acceptable by the left. Let's get that clear. There is nothing Trump can do. And I want to be very clear. My audience knows I'm not a Trumpster. I disagree with him on many things. I actually call him out on anything. Like, I don't know, Dr. Oz being a pick.
Right.
But
Right.
when he does good, left will come after him. There is no
Right.
way that they're going to be like, well, Hunter was pardoned, so it's okay. That's just a myth. And you know what, Jeff? Let me just get completely sidetracked here. I can't help but to think just because Trump won the election, our side is already slipping into that, la la land. They're already forgetting all the trauma this country had to face during the last 4 years. It's like they're already like, it's good for unity and they're going to agree with us. Where are we going? There is a lot of damages that needs to be repaired. And if we expect Trump to do it all by himself, we're making the same mistake we made in 2016.
That's a very good point. A lot of these so-called conservatives are saying, hey, let's just let bygones be bygones. Let's just move forward in the spirit of unity, and let's not go after the left and any of these criminals. They're going to have to go after people that committed crimes. They're going to have to institute real justice again. People that committed crimes can't just get away with it just because they're Democrats and say, oh, we can't go after Democrats because that's what the Democrats did toward Republicans and we don't want to play their game. No, they did it unjustly. They did it in the name of injustice. The Trump administration needs to do it in the name of real justice. And yeah, it's got to be done. These institutions have to be restored. Now, we have I think, a good pick for FBI director. The guy who has been there and been involved in so much of this corruption, Christopher Wray, has announced he's leaving. He's going to be resigning at the end of the Biden administration. That is something we should all celebrate. Remember, this is a guy that sent armed agents into President Trump's house. This is a guy that targeted Trump over and over again, spied on Trump. This is a guy who arrested pro-life supporters, parents, Catholics, went after people of faith. This is a guy who was made taking out J6 folks from society and putting them behind bars, one of his top missions. And he won't let us know how many FBI agents were there on J6. So to me, he's a disgrace. And I think it's a great thing for our country that he will no longer be FBI director in a few weeks.
Very true. Yes, I would say that was one of the. Now I will add this bravery, right? He's like, oh, wait, things are getting rough. Let me just say I'm resigning so nobody's firing me. I know, tiny bit of problem there, but still, I feel like we need to really zoom in. Every action of every word is important until January 20th, Jeff. Like the smallest word coming out of any of these people's mouth, we need to register, record, archive, keep it there because we're gonna need it soon. Everything is a game right now. I I pray every day that President Trump is more aware this time around than he was in 2016. But a lot of these good guys, a lot of those who are cooperating, these are all plans. I might be extremely paranoid, but I'd rather be paranoid than watch them somehow go after President Trump one way or another and then be like, oh, I thought they were all joining our side. It's it's imperative to stay paranoid until we see different. A lot of the picks, and I have said, Jeff, I am going to keep my opinion to myself until they're confirmed because some of the problems are resolving themselves. But until they're, when they are, I'm going to give them a benefit of the doubt to see if they're going to do the job or not. I do believe some people change. I do believe in that. I do believe sometimes brainwash can stop. I do believe a lot of Democrats out there, registered Democrats, woke up one day and said, I'm done. I can't feed my family. I can't keep the roof over their head. I'm done. I'm voting Trump because I know at least for fact he's going to fix the economy. Talking about economy now. Uh, Jeff, a lot of people, average citizens, I do apologize. I was told not to say average. My fellow citizens out there, they're under, this excitement of that's it. Look, things are already falling in place and getting perfect. Just he's not even in the office. But I'm worried they might be disappointed because the economy damage that needs to be reversed is not an overnight process. This is going to take time. Where are you with this repairing economy situation when Trump takes
Well,
office?
I agree. I mean, it didn't get into this mess overnight, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. But I do think the president can make some symbolic moves day one that'll just give people confidence that we're moving in the right direction. He's already told these countries, you better stop this flow of migration, illegal immigrants coming into this country, or we're putting tariffs on you. So that could raise costs for American consumers, but it'll keep this invasion to a minimum, which is we've got to secure our border. That's got to be job number one. We got to secure our country. We have to have a country. We have to have borders again. We need to get rid of the people that are here illegally, that are doing damage, that are committing crimes. So yeah, there's going to be a situation where I think some of these moves might be harmful economically, possibly. But President Trump's moving in the right direction. Remember what he did the first term. He got inflation down to 1.4%. Interest rates when he left office were 2.65%. He had the economy rolling, and even after the pandemic, it was moving in the right direction. We were recovering, and then Biden comes in, declares war on oil and gas, inflation skyrockets, interest rates go up, and we got the mess that we have now. I'm confident, Annie, that by the midterms, it's going to take, I think, some time, but by the midterms, we're going to be in a great place economically. The American people will credit President Trump. Remember when Ronald Reagan came in office to take over from the disaster known as Jimmy Carter? It was painful in the beginning. I mean, it was painful. But by the time 83 rolled around, boy, things were looking good, and he won a landslide reelection. He won 49 states. Donald Trump can't run again, but whoever is going to be the next Republican nominee, I think, will benefit from the good work President Trump's going to do.
Absolutely. Talking about economy and things not being good yet, this girl's broke. So we're going to take a quick sponsor break to hear from our sponsors. And then when we come back, I'm going to plug them. And then we're going to get back to this discussion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, hello, everybody, it's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my artist studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back! The My Pillow guy!
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to mypillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit mypillow.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Even if you have a My Pillow, you got to grab another one and then another one and another one. Okay, so genuinely, I know I'm sarcastic. I can't help it, but I do need your support, guys. LUTFstudio.com, when you have to think to remember your own URL, right? LUTF, abbreviation of Live Up to Freedom. LUTF Studio, there's no S at the end, just the studio.com. Christmas, right? If you have last minute shopping for Christmas, we do have new inventory, lots of resin arts, a couple diamond paintings. So head over and make a purchase. Also, support Mike Lindell. You know, he's been in front row for a long time. So mypillow.com or mystore.com, use promo code AC, that's Annie Cyrus, AC21. And I just want to say this, I did put it on, but surprise, surprise, Facebook is hiding comments again. So I'm sorry I can't see your comments on Facebook, but if you want to head over to either my YouTube channel or Rumble, I am seeing the comments from there. And on that note, hey Josh, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. And thanks for reminding me. I know I shouldn't do this and waste Jeff's time here, but I have not been on Earth since my birthday. I do appreciate all your birthday messages. They made my day that much more special. I appreciate it. Yay, we made it to 41. Woohoo. So thank you. And Math is cool. That's a very cool handle on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. And I am monitoring the comments. So if you have any questions for Jeff, feel free to shoot them my way, unless it's on Facebook. I am not seeing Facebook comments, so I apologize. Okay, enough about me, my birthday, my broke bank account, and support needed. Let's bring back Jeff Crouere to the program. Hi, Jeff. I'm sorry. I did that.
Happy birthday, Annie. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it felt good to make it to, sometimes in life you feel like, am I going to make it to 20? You make it to 20. You're like, how about 30? How about 40? So I'm one of those people. I'm always like, am I going to make it to next year? So I'm very grateful that I did make it to another year and a good year, right? Because I know there are struggles.
You are exactly half the age of Joe Biden. How about that?
Right? That's actually the beauty of it. I know I still have long ways to go.
Right.
And I still not give up. I mean, I think he's done though, don't you? Like, I think this is it. We're not going to hear from Joe Biden after January 20th.
I think he is going to go and hang out on the beach. I think he's going to, collect his money. I think he's going to, go to some of these events and get some money for showing up. I don't think he can speak really. I mean, the guy's a disaster. The other day, he fell asleep and then he lost the teleprompter and, he started yelling again. I mean, it's embarrassing, Annie. I mean, the fact that this man, who should have been put out to pasture decades ago as our president, is just, it's a national embarrassment.
Yes, and I really pray deeply on my knees, pray every day that my fellow Americans learned the lesson. It does matter who is in the White House. It may not be the ultimate decision, but I'm going to remind you of the pen they hold. It is important. What we did this year needs to happen every 2 years. Because here's the thing, Jeff. I was thinking the other day, because, I need to sit here and create some sort of panic situation for myself. So I'm thinking, oh, this is great. But in 2 years, midterms coming up. And they're going to try to pull some sort of trick and flip Senate, flip the House, flip this, flip that. So on that note, I'm like racing in my own head of, oh, we got to get it started because it's only 2 years away. And we both know 2 years is like that. I mean,
Well,
we're going to enjoy all the.
Consider this,
Go ahead.
Annie. The House has 220 Republicans and 215 Democrats. 3 of these Republicans are being selected for positions in the Trump cabinet. So that'll bring the Republican majority down to 217. So it'll be 217 to 215. If any of those special elections go against Republicans and Democrats win, theoretically, the Democrats could take control of the Congress within the next 2 years. And, if any Republican has to leave office and, or some resign last time, remember, we had a lot of them resigning. I mean, so this majority is hanging on by a thread. And, if the Democrats take control, you know what they'll do? They'll try to impeach President Trump. I mean, that's what they do.
Yes. Well, I was hoping my panic ended with my own race in my own head, but thank you so much for adding to my panic. I didn't even put that together. Great. So we're like literally, do we ever catch a break? Like we're right on the verge again. I'm not being ungrateful. I really am not. I'm very grateful. At least we have a couple of weeks to take a deep breath and be grateful and remember what America is all about. But again, guys, it's serious. It's important to not put our guard down. You gotta stay on top of this. And most importantly, if I could say this for a second, remember, you think it was too big to rig. You think we did it. You think such and such person brought enough information to get people to get out there. But I want you to know at the end of the day, that very night, close to 3 a.m. Eastern time, when that victory was called, it was none of us. That was God. Remember that and stay with him as we walk through this path. Don't get back on, we did it. We're nothing if it wasn't his will.
Well, amen to that, Annie. And let's go back to July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. I mean, it was God that saved President Trump. I mean, President Trump should have been killed. They allowed a sniper to be in the closest building to where President Trump was speaking, running around the ground, setting up. Nobody stopped him. And he got up there to take 8 shots at President Trump. And I still don't know whether there were other snipers. I still don't know all the connections and all the beyond incompetence that was involved. But he turned his head at the right time. That was God. He was millimeters away from being killed. So the man has been protected by God. I think we have this opportunity. God has given this to us. We need to be thankful to God that we do have this opportunity to save our country. And let's take advantage of it. Yeah, we can't let our guard down. We can't go to sleep. We can't go on vacation. We got to be completely invested, because over these next few weeks before President Trump takes office, we don't know what these people are capable of.
Very true. And amen. And talk about that. It's interesting that within 24 hours, Jeff, we had so much information, so much detailed information about the shooter who took out that CEO in New York. But to this day, we still don't have any information on that sniper, right? Isn't that amazing?
How did he get all that equipment? Why did he have phones that were, had ties to overseas? How did this happen? What are the connections that this guy might have? What are these foreign connections that we hear about? How did a guy get next to President Trump's golf course and hang out for 12 hours and not get detected? How did a guy who barely has any money fly all over the world, go to Ukraine, come from Hawaii to Florida, stay there for as long as he did? How did he know President Trump was going to be there? Lots of questions, not many answers. And again, you can condemn Christopher Wray's FBI. They've been stonewalling. And incompetence, it may be more than incompetence with the Secret
But
Service.
that's the thing. I don't think it's that. As I said, like, they have what it takes to dig the information. It's the cover up. Because when it comes to other cases, other scenarios, and other situations, in a heartbeat, we get all the answers. But
Well,
in certain areas, it's a cover. I know they know, but they're covering it up.
right. And they've been covering it up ever since JFK's assassination. We still don't have the truth about JFK's assassination. I did a recent radio program where I interviewed an author about a new book. And, we talked about our hope that President Trump is going to release all the records on the JFK assassination. It's been 61 years, Annie. And, they're still holding back on the information about that. So they lie, they cover up, they've been doing it for decades. Everything that they tell us about is a lie. The election, COVID, Ukraine, it's just one lie after another.
Yes. Now, you brought up Ukraine. So let me grab the international line here and go to my area of favor. We have the situation in the Middle East. It is heating up. And of course, mainstream media or even alternative media, at this point as I'm watching, is not catching up to what really happened. Now that's a story that I need to do a full monologue solo show and go into depth of what just happened. But just a quick note of it, Jeff. Syria was freed. Woohoo! But then, how was it freed? With a bunch of people who were born from Al Qaeda and trained by ISIS. Where is the common sense here? And why? Isn't the timing a little curious, Jeff, on what just happened in Syria? Isn't it?
I don't trust any of it. Yeah, it is very curious. It is very disturbing. All this is happening right as, these 6 weeks before President Trump is taking office, and everything seems to be changing. So, yeah, I find it very curious. I also am hesitant to celebrate about anything, Annie, because as you say, the new person in charge has connections to how many different terror groups? The guy was connected to.
5.
So he claims he's moderating now, but do you believe him? I don't.
Here's the thing. Not only I don't believe him, but it's pretty simple. First of all, this person is okay. So here's how he's twisting the narrative. He freed the prisoners that Assad was holding, right? I want to give you an example. When 1979 revolution took place in Islamic Republic of Iran, the new regime freed a lot of prisoners in King of Iran's prison. Were they all innocent people? No, those were the ones who turned around and took our American citizens hostages. Those are the people who turned around and became IRGC members into Hamas and Hezbollah. Just because somebody freed a bunch of prisoners doesn't mean they are a better regime. A regime is a regime. The last regime was a neutral regime when it came to outside. Assad was a dictator, no question about it. But guess what? He was neutral toward Israel. He was neutral toward America. He was scared of Trump like there is no tomorrow. But the new regime has announced that now we open the gate to Damascus. The next gate to open is Israel. Do we need to know any more than that, Jeff?
Mm-mm. Well, yeah, you make a good point. And let's also talk about Assad. From what I understand, Annie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He was relatively hands off toward the Christians that were in Syria. They felt like they could practice
Yes.
their faith. So now under this new rule, are Christians going to be able to even stay in Syria? Are they going to have to leave? Are they going to be persecuted and imprisoned? Are their churches going to be shut down? So, I mean, I think there are a lot of questions. Turkey is now using this as a great opportunity to exert its influence. These various Kurdish forces, we've been allied with them. I mean, what's going to happen there? I mean, there's all these conflicting factions and fights that are going on. President Trump said, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I do, we need to stay out of this, Annie. This isn't our fight. That's what I say.
I would agree, except one exception. Now, let me just quickly give you my crazy idea. President Trump's about to be inaugurated. The Islamic Republic of Iran is on full panic, going for replacement of supreme leader because they need some fresh mind in there to possibly handle things. And then suddenly the Syrian situation happens. Now, understanding from Iran regime, Trump's going to have to shift focus to Syria because soon, as you said, Christians are being persecuted. American hostages are going to pop up in Syria. All of that is going to happen. So we buy time and shift Trump's focus to Syria. That is my very, very, very educated estimate of what did happen here. They were funded by IRGC to do what they did at the exact time they did it. But what I agree with is, yes, we need to stay out of what's happening in Syria, but we still need to keep our focus on Iran. If President Trump continues putting the pressure they need to put on Iran and help the people of Iran to topple this regime, the rest will resolve itself, Jeff.
Well, that's a good point, because where do all these terror groups get their funding and get their support? Iran, right? The world's foremost funder of terrorist groups. And Israel's been doing a good job of certainly taking the fight to them. And I think they've certainly had a very bad year, Annie. And Israel has, I think, been able to inflict a lot of damage on Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and Iran. And we'll see what happens here. And I think President Trump's going to be much more confrontational with them than Biden. I'm sure you know about all the loan guarantees that Biden just forgave to the Iranians, and another gift to the Iranians as he leaves office, Annie.
Very true. And even though we did not practice this with Jeff has made it very easy for me, giving me good segues. Talk about funding. We need funding here on this show. So let's take our last sponsor break. We'll be right back to close the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, folks, it's your buddy John Rich here and co-founder of Old Glory Bank. Let me ask you a question. Why would you trust your banking with people that hate you? Well, you shouldn't. We're building a freedom economy, and now we have a pro-America bank. It's called Old Glory Bank. Check it out at oldglorybank.com and open yourself an account today.
Old Glory Bank is a full-service, FDIC-insured online bank with business and consumer banking and customers in all 50 states. It takes just 8 minutes to open an account at oldglorybank.com.
I couldn't give anything a higher endorsement.
I would be remiss had I not include Cardio Miracle on my very short list of secrets.
It's the real deal. It's a real product. It's not another supplement.
I'm operating about 6 to 8 hours, and I've noticed that being on this Cardio Miracle has made a huge difference.
Since I started taking Cardio Miracle, about 8 months into it, the benefits have been fantastic.
You know, if I get hungry, then I just have a Cardio Miracle.
Not only is it safe, but it's necessary to take Cardio Miracle to stay well.
This let me sleep and feeling like more energy, more get up and go, and it's all because of what this company does.
For me as a doctor, Cardio Miracle is a staple.
Cardio Miracle to me is hope in a glass.
To try Cardio Miracle for yourself and get a special fan discount, go to the host page right now and click the link for Cardio Miracle.
Fantastic. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thanks so much for staying with us until now. Cardio Miracle. I don't know if you've heard of them. I don't know if you use them. But if you haven't, here's the bare minimum I will ask you to do. Check them out. So go to patriot.tv and you'll see a very nice, very well put together banner on the homepage. Click on that. You go to Cardio Miracle page where you can read everything you need to read, make your own judgment. I personally like their product. As you know, I don't sleep much. I need energy. So their supplements working pretty good for me. So Cardio Miracle. Find it on patriot.tv. I do have a landing page somewhere, but I can't tell you what the URL is today. So go support patriot.tv and don't worry about my promo code. I'll get that to you next week, I promise. But patriot.tv, click on the Cardio Miracle, order yourself, a smaller packages if you like them, get more, but getting healthy during this time, especially as we were talking during the break. It's cold, it's winter, it's snow. So stay healthy. Cardio Miracle. Okay. Jeff, before we go to our last break, which, by the way, thank you so much. You've been so amazing helping me not cut to ad without going funding and resources and being broke.
Glad to help, Annie. Glad to help.
You see, that's why I love having you on, because somehow it's like you read my mind, so the show goes so smooth. I don't have to find ways to get in there. But before we let you go, I realized that I've been off air apparently for long enough to forget how to properly do plots for my guest. You wrote a book, which I think no matter what, it's always relevant. Always. America's Last Chance. It's relevant to every day of every generation of this country, because we're always one generation away from either keeping or losing our freedoms. Tell our audience where they can get your book, where they can go to follow you and support you and get more educated on the topics you're covering.
Yeah, Annie, thank you so much. My last name is Crouere, Crouere, and Crouere.net is my website. So I have information about my book, America's Last Chance, that I wrote, I'm proud of, but I'm working on my sequel. It's going to be out in the early part of 2025. And hopefully we'll have an opportunity to come back on and talk about that. Also, I have links to all my social media and columns and shows and videos at that website, Crouere.net. We're doing a poll right now about the biggest loser in the 2024 campaign. People can log on and cast their vote. We know the big winner, Donald Trump, by the way, named Time Magazine Person of the Year, which finally they got it right. And the good thing about the site, it allows me to connect with people, and I get a lot of feedback from folks, a lot of emails from listeners and viewers, and I get a good feeling about where people are right now. There's a lot of excitement, but you are, I think, so on target today because you're giving us some things to think about. We can't let our guard down ever. And we have to always be on guard about what the left is capable of doing in these enemies of freedom. So the fight goes on. I mean, we've won at this particular time, but they're regrouping and they're coming at us again. And you know that they're going to try to do everything they can to disrupt and dismantle this agenda and make sure it's not implemented, because they hate the freedoms that we espouse and that we love. And that's the battle. What you talk about on your show, freedom.
Well, I appreciate that. Yes, that's very true. And okay, I want to ask you one more topic. It's a sore spot for most people out there, not for me. I do apologize if I'm about to put you on the spot here, but I want to ask you this. We have this character who showed up and became a hero to a lot of conservatives, to a lot of censored people, purchased X, Elon Musk, and then, kind of got heavily involved with politics, and we know where he's standing today. So here's my question for you. Elon Musk has done some great work. There's no denying that. But I have my own issues and concerns with Elon Musk's mindset of involvement with transhumanism and AI. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a good point. I'm not a big fan of electric vehicles either. And, he's, of course, got Tesla. I don't believe in the subsidies for that at all. I think he's come around to that, hopefully. I know he's done great work at SpaceX. But yeah, you're right. He's been at the forefront of some of this transhumanism that scares me. I think we need to be on guard about everybody. I mean, he is someone who did transform Twitter into a platform that is more free speech oriented. That was a great public service. He now seems to be attached at the hip to President Trump. I mean, he seems to be everywhere President Trump is. I think it's a little odd to see him constantly there with President Trump everywhere. So, I mean, I understand he's going to play a role in this Department of Government Efficiency with Vivek Ramaswamy. So we just have to keep watching, and hopefully he will continue to advocate for efficiency in government and to fight waste and to do what he can to help. You know, we've got a $36 trillion debt, Annie. As you know, Joe Biden has been the biggest spender in American history. He added $8.5 trillion to the national debt, more than anybody. And we're still spending like crazy. So he'll add another few hundred billion before he leaves. So it's a dire emergency. I mean, we've got to do something immediately. So, you know, I do like the focus that we're going to have on trying to create some government efficiency and to cut this debt. So I'm hoping he's going to be true to those principles and do the job there. I am very concerned about AI, very concerned about this whole transhumanism agenda. I think it could be very destructive. It could be, Annie, as you know, it could be the end of humanity, possibly, if we're not careful.
Yes, and first of all, thank you for allowing me to ask that. But you see, guys, it is okay to support someone and also be concerned with their actions. There's nothing wrong with that. But Jeff, my biggest thing is, well, let me ask you this. So I'm guessing you're not going to be ordering one of his driverless electric cars?
No, I like to drive, Annie. I want to have my hands on the wheel. I want to be in control. I like to be in control. I don't want to turn it over to a robot, turn it over to AI, turn it over to, you know, a driverless vehicle. Hell no. I don't like electric vehicles. See, I live in an area that gets hit by hurricanes. The last thing you want to be is be stuck in an electric vehicle trying to evacuate when there are not enough charging stations. You don't want to get stuck on a highway in an electric vehicle. I mean, there's so many horror stories about them. So I like, I like my good old fashioned, oil and gas industry here in Louisiana. That's a big supporter of our economy. This whole EV nonsense, I think, is counterproductive, has been very harmful. I think it's been benefiting China. You know, Biden's been pushing it so hard. So I think Trump's going to turn that around completely, even though Elon Musk is a big advisor. So I think he's going to do it anyway because he wants to get back to drill, baby, drill.
But I hope you're right. I pray you're right. And yes, I'm with you on that. I enjoy driving. I don't do much of it, but I do enjoy driving. And the only time I am willing to say I am not in charge or give the will away, and then that's to God. Other than that, I drive myself. Thank you. I can't even imagine. But he's definitely promoting it a lot. Okay, so as we come to the end of this segment, Jeff Crouere, as always, you're amazing. I never get enough of talking to you. I look forward to having you back. Please keep in touch and let me know when your book is out, because that will be a discussion. We need to do probably more than an hour. And everybody, Crouere.net, that it's COUERE.net. Yes, I have learned how to pronounce your last name. Make sure to check out Crouere.net.
It's like crew in a boat and air you breathe. Crouere, CROUERE.net. Thank you.
CROUERE.net. It's a .net, not a .com, .net. Go follow Jeff's work, read what he posts, watch his show, get his book. Not just because he's a great friend of mine, but because he knows what he's talking about. Jeff Crouere, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to having you back on Live Up to Freedom soon.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, guys, here, I want to take a couple minutes. I know I still have about exactly 7 minutes and 27 minutes. And yes, I need to be precise. I need to stop winging it again and get back on time. So I want to take a minute to talk to you about a few things. We kind of hinted at it, and I want to expand on this. Some of you have been unhappy with me talking about Elon Musk. Well, that's okay. But let's not be hypocrites. I generally don't blame the product. I blame the consumers. But at some point, we need to realize one person can do a lot of good, but then in one move, they can absolutely destroy nations. I'm not saying Elon Musk is going to destroy our nation. I'm just saying his mindset is a little too far towards what I'm not comfortable with. People will lose their jobs. And there are a lot of industries that have already become obsolete by humans, accounting, it's being replaced with AI. And soon, from what I've heard from Maria Z, is, they are going to start having AI lawyers. So you won't need lawyers. Some industries that we never talked about or thought about, not talked about. So I'm not saying don't support Elon. I'm not saying, withdraw. I'm just saying keep your eyes open. Don't get all excited. Let's not be hypocrites. We complain about a lot of things, but then when the people on our side do it, that suddenly becomes a good thing to do. It doesn't work that way, okay? A wrong action is a wrong action. It's not about who's doing it. It's about the action itself. So I'm literally genuinely begging you, as we get through this transition, as we get through the first 100-day, don't slip into La La Land. Just because this person did it doesn't make it okay. Whatever your issues were until election night, they need to stay your issues, like mine will. Islamization is my issue, has always been my issue, and I will stick with it, and I don't care who does what. Again, I'm waiting to see if Dr. Oz is going to be confirmed, because then I will have questions. And with that, it doesn't matter what position he's holding. It's a fact of we cannot constantly have those who obey Sharia to be involved with our government. Now, another thing I want to go over is the situation in Middle East. We kind of touched on it with Jeff, and I'm going to do my very best, either by end of the week or next week, to actually dig really deep into what is happening. But I do want to tell you a few things about the group that is being called the rebels in America that are in charge of Syria right now. First of all, remember, let me be mean for a second. For anybody who's going to ask me immediately, what are your sources? My sources are the local news of Middle East. These are my sources. My sources are not Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, or for that matter, OANN or Newsmax. I don't need them to tell me what's happening. I'm familiar with the language. I watch it myself. I take notes myself, and I hear it from the horse's mouth. So if you need to confirm my information, you can wait months, like last time when I gave you an information and 5 months later Fox News confirmed it. You can wait a good 5 months for them to confirm. Number one, the new regime in Syria has already announced that women are not to leave their houses without their male guardian guarding them or escorting them, and they are moving toward mandatory hijab. Moderate regime. And yes, Assad didn't care for that. He cared for money and power. Not saying he was a good guy. Just saying. That has already been issued. That law has been issued already, and it's been more than 48 hours since it has been issued, just to give you a sense. Now, the man who's in charge, he is and was a loyalist to death to Al-Qaeda. Okay? He separated from Al-Qaeda based on difference of we should establish the caliphate in Syria before we go for any other country. That was the disagreement. So you see what I'm saying? It wasn't that, oh, you're too radical. Oh, you're beheading everybody. I can't be this evil, so I'm going to go have my own group. No, it was like, I want the Syrian caliphate first and then other places. The third thing I need to mention about this new group, they're very easy to find. You can actually just in English say like the new Syrian rebel group and you find them. They have a manifesto. It is the Sufi jihad model. Sufi jihad. What is the Sufi jihad? Global caliphate. Very simple. Super simple. All humans across earth shall be Mohammedan. That is what's called Sufi jihad. So this is what we're dealing with. I agree we need to butt out. But I want you to know, regardless of us butting out or not, this is going to have effect on us here in the United States of America. So here I come again. As we celebrate the holidays, as we celebrate Christmas, as we celebrate New Year's, as we celebrate inauguration, the enemy is not celebrating any of that. The enemy is not taking a week off. The enemy is not taking a minute off. The enemy is looking for when we're vulnerable. Keep your eyes open. I'm not saying be paranoid. I'm not saying look over your shoulder. I'm just saying keep your eyes open. Don't get too carried away. If you see something, say something. If you notice unusual activities on your local mosques, make the call. I know, I can hear you. Who cares? They're not going to come investigate. That's okay. You do your part. What they do with your information is not your responsibility. What is your responsibility is for you to do your job. I need to wrap up here. Guys, a lot of changes are happening, as I said. So I'll make those announcements on my social media and my website by end of the week. In meantime, liveuptofreedom.com is where I need you to go and sign up to the free newsletter. Trust me, I need you to do that. So go to liveuptofreedom.com, sign up to my newsletter. Then head over to lutfstudio.com, and pick up some art pieces. That is a great support. New inventory will be put up this weekend. So if you don't find what you're looking for, you might find it this weekend. So check it out. And then I will see you, I don't know when. No, I will definitely see you next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye, guys.